Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, Clintrons. Riddick, hey man, it's good to see you. Riddick. Nobody on Twitter yet, except for Derek. Hey man. Derek, how's it going? I've been feverishly getting set up for the last little bit. Out of my element. Can you guys hear me okay? Let me know if you can hear me. I'll say something there. Good morning, Zen. Derek requested to speak. Good morning, Zen. Good morning, Derek.
Hey, good morning.
I hear on YouTube that the audio is good. Zen?
Good morning. Can you hear me all right?
Yep. Lima Charlie.
Yep. I'm driving right now, so I'm gonna have to do this one on the road. I have to take my wife to the airport.
Ah, okay. Good.
I found out last minute.
Oh, did you? Don't you
Not
just love those?
Last minute, but yesterday or the day before.
Okay. Okay. Sure. Okay. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to do this, even though you're taking your wife to the airport. All right. It looks well. We got 11 viewers on YouTube, and there are 5 people on Twitter. So cool. Well, what's happening, guys? I'm a little bit out of my element. I'm on a laptop today. My wife's laptop, but it looks like we're making it happen. So at home I have 2 monitors, which is super handy. And it makes it easier for me because I can have the StreamYard on one monitor and everything else that I like to show and such on the other monitor. Derek, what's happening, man? You requested
that's
to
how
speak.
That's how I am at work.
That's how you are at work?
Yeah, I have my 2 monitors and this is my normal job. But any type of work anywhere else, I feel so out of my element, especially if I only have one screen.
Oh yeah.
Even if the screens are like different shapes, like
really?
mine at work are 12 by 24, so I'm like used to everything showing up on a 12 by 24 screen. But then at home, my screens are like 12 by 16s or whatever, and I just feel out of my element using anything else because I've spent so many hours at work just doing my thing.
There you go. Well, let's look at Bitcoin. I have the charts pulled up, and this morning I was rearranging my stuff, and I was like, well, let's throw Bitcoin into the mix because it's been a topic this week. Ethereum, and then Pulse, pTGC, and UFO. So I check the charts every day. I saw that earlier this week Bitcoin was, well, this is on the 15. It always goes to the 15-minute, and I don't want that. So, and I'm using Wi-Fi, so my connection's a little bit slower. But Bitcoin right now is at 62,000. Ethereum, which follows Bitcoin, is at 3,000. Pulse, I was a little shocked this morning when I looked at Pulse. It was, I want to say it was in the low 4s. And we're tied to Pulse, so and when it, as it moves, we move. And the direction that it moves, we move. Let's see. And I have an idea. I think I'm going to refresh my screen. I have an idea of why Pulse is down this morning. I want to hear from you guys. Does anyone have any idea why Pulse is less today than it was yesterday? I can give you a hint if you need it. Let me check the chat.
Well, like personally, I think mainly it's just because Pulse is heavily tied to Ethereum. Or I know that's a good portion of that drawdown.
Okay.
Is that what you were going to say, Banana?
No, it wasn't. Let's see if any. I like to guess, and I won't drag this on, but I want to hear if anybody else has this same idea. Romeo added you as a speaker. Anybody in the chat? Any idea why Pulse is a little bit down this morning? I'll give you guys Romeo. All right, I'll tell you. I'll tell you why I think, and I may be wrong, but many of you guys know about Titan X. It launched 280 days ago, and you could do a max. Everybody was doing max miners, 280 days, 280-day miners. Those matured at about 1 a.m. this morning. And I suspect that people are swapping Pulse to buy Titan X, because Titan X has had a challenging chart for the last 6 months. What do you think about that, guys?
Is Titan X today?
Go ahead.
Is Titan X up today, Banana?
It is, yes. Actually, that's a good question. It's up about 25%.
Yeah, I'd say that's maybe a good. Yeah, but I definitely think the drop is just, and just like how we move up and down with Pulse moves up and down with ETH moves up and down with Bitcoin. Everything's tied together. But yeah, that's probably a good chunk of where some of that's coming from, because there's a lot of blended community there. A lot of Pulse people are Titan X people as well. So
yeah,
I don't really pay attention to Titan X, but I think that's probably correct.
Yeah, that's why I would have never guessed that it could have been tied to Titan X, because that's not a project that I really pay attention to. But given the swing, I mean, it would make sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so what we speculated is that when those miners matured, is that people would claim them and then dump their Titan X. But there were diehard Titans in the community that have been trumpeting that this is a great opportunity. It will be a great opportunity to buy Titan X. So it kind of just stands to reason that, yeah, I think people are bridging their Pulse over to Ethereum and taking advantage of the opportunity. And that's affected our price. I think. Yeah, it's interesting to see it on the chart. And
it really can't be that much though, because if you look at the amount of liquidity Pulsechain has comparatively to Titan X. I haven't even looked at Titan X liquidity, but I bet you it's maybe 1 million. You could probably look if you have it on your screen.
It's 2.5 million. I looked at it this morning.
2.5 million, yeah. So compared to if you add up all Pulsechains, which is probably like 40 million or something like that, it wouldn't put that big of a dent. It kind of goes back to like the analogy that I like to use is the dog wags the tail, the tail doesn't wag the dog.
Right.
But I do agree with you. I bet you a chunk of that is from people taking their Pulse and bridging it over and doing so.
Yep.
a lot of those people are also Zen community members, and there ain't much to pull out of Zen at this moment.
Oh,
so
I tell you.
Pulsechain's the only place to go.
Yeah. Well, I'm thankful for the rollover, thinking long term, like I say, it gives people an opportunity to get in if they're not, and B, build their bags if that's what they're intending to do.
Yeah, I said in one of my comments yesterday, because I made a post kind of talking about how these dips are really just opportunities if you can take advantage of them. And, someone said, like, that's not really how everyone looks at it. And I was like, well, I don't start off looking at it that way, I think, just like most people, but you can kind of find the silver lining on things. And one of the reasons I look at it this way is if, let's say, you sacked $1,000, or you have $1,000 in pTGC that you bought in around a higher level, which is really hard because there are much higher levels really than now comparative to Pulse. Mm-hmm. But and then you go to where we are now, and let's say you put another $1,000 in. Well, right when we go back up to Pulse, you now have pretty much 3 times the amount of money than you had before in Pulsechain.
Yeah.
So you could actually even take out all your profits and still have the same amount that you had before in Pulsechain and completely got your ROI back. If you're worried about the money, if you're not worried about the money, now you just found a way to get 3 times the amount for just double the amount of money, which, that's how the big players do it. So you sometimes, even if you're not the biggest player, and I kind of look at this with pTGC and UFO too, you're not going to get that big a dip because of pTGC. Like, you can see that on our chart against Pulse. But if Pulse is the one giving you the dip on pTGC, take advantage of it.
There you go. Yeah.
Because pTGC ain't giving you a dip. That's like, if you look at the chart against Pulsechain, it's dipped, but like right now we're only down 20% against Pulsechain, or 25%. And if you look at every other altcoin on this blockchain, I can't find one that's less than 50% down, or less than 50% down on Pulsechain that's been around for more than a few months. Most every single one is like 50 to 70% down currently, and we're sitting at a 20% down, and UFOs at all-time highs pretty much. So I don't think you're getting really much of a dip from our protocols, but PLS is giving you awesome dips. And I remember when we were at the top of pTGC, people were begging for a dip, saying like, oh, I'll load up. But when you get here, it's a different story because you have different emotions because Pulsechain's down so bad. But in my opinion, it is a great opportunity for anyone who did need to load up their bags on pTGC. And it wasn't even because of pTGC falling. It's basically only because Pulsechain's falling, which makes me feel more confident because then I'm like, well, I know my machine's working right. Right now it's just Pulsechain in general having to shake out people who either sacrifice too much or now are starting to need the money or just don't have as much of a long-term horizon as us, ultimately.
Right. Let me ask a marketing question while I have you on the phone, sort of, Zen. So I've been trying to post these videos, and I schedule them. I'm away from my office, and I schedule them for the days I'm away. And they're not dropping on Twitter. And I screenshotted and put one in the chat yesterday. It was scheduled for, excuse me, like 10/21, August 2nd. And it totally didn't drop onto my Twitter feed. Like, what is going on? If anybody has any idea, it's very difficult to get through to Twitter. So please let me know. Zen, do you got any ideas?
I don't even think you can schedule on non-paid for accounts.
I've got
I don't have a paid for account.
I do. I've got the blue check mark.
Yeah. Well, I was more just saying I don't even know anything about that. I've never done it because I've never paid for Twitter.
Okay.
I probably should to help my account get monetized. I'm just
You're rebelling.
I'm rebelling right now against Twitter.
Yeah, I understand. I did too until somebody was using my profile and trying to scam people out of it, out of their crypto. Somebody told me, and I was like, oh, no, I'm not going to let this happen I'm not going to let this happen again or whatever. And I got the blue check mark. So let's see. I have not been checking. Coach, I'm going to add you as co-host because I'm going to leave in about 45 minutes. I'm just going to leave everything running. You guys can chat. And Zen, I think I made you co-host as well. So what else is happening, guys? Anybody want to come up and speak? Chat. Drop any questions you may have. Got 32 people on YouTube, and I picked a weak spot in the house to set my laptop up. I couldn't find where the router was. I tried to get close to where I think it is, but so far so good. Okay, so we were looking at we looked at Bitcoin, 61,000, Ethereum, 3,000, WPLS is at 41, and let's go to pTGC. pTGC should have pulled back a bit because PLS did.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
I was wondering, do you have, I know it's might seem a bit ridiculous talking about it today, but a price target and market cap terms for pTGC in the bull run?
Zen, I'll let you answer that one. Or Coach.
Yeah, I can speak to that. It's all going to depend on what Pulsechain actually does right now, or in the bull market. Like Pulsechain does the numbers that it's capable of during this first bull or run, not first run, but actually second run. Market cap wise, I don't really like talking about like market caps because that's almost impossible to predict. But the last time Pulse did a 5x, pTGC did a 800x. So if you think about in terms of that thing, the next time Pulse did like 4x, pTGC did a 43x. So now we actually bought and burned about 5% more of the total supply. Plus, we added about $80,000 to $120,000 of liquidity to the RH ticker. So it's just the machine is that much stronger. So if you actually think about the supply shock factor, that's kind of hard to predict of what the possibility of market cap is going to be, because in the liquidity right now it's at like 3.4, almost 3.2 maybe.
It's 3.7 on the website.
3.7, so 3.7. Once that gets to like in the 2% to 1% range, this number can just go. Because the amount of pTGC on the tradable market is going to be
Cut in half.
Well, a little bit, even
Or
more than
more,
that,
yeah.
too.
Thanks, Coach. Coach, have you ever considered a coffee cup with the title "What a Concept"?
Oh God! Oh, God. I know, right? I should. I'm drinking
T-shirts, maybe.
I'm drinking my alien cup right now, but that's actually a really funny concept to actually think about.
Well, thanks for everything.
Cheers, bud. Thank you.
Who else has a question?
I'm in a better spot now, guys. Just so you know, I missed a good portion of it because whenever Coach comes up, I have to drop down.
Okay.
Just because you're my neighbor, you have to be nice. It took a few streams to learn that. I just sit here and think Coach doesn't talk the whole time and talk over him, but now I know every time he comes up, I have to drop down.
Oh, yeah. Okay, we have 2 more people that requested and 1 question in the chat. MD, you have permission to speak, although it says connecting, so just hold on. We'll wait on that. I'm going to give Mikey permission here. While we're waiting for MD, let's answer Willard's question. He says, if Pulse does a 10x, fees on the Pulse chain will also 10x. Will that also mean there will be less ARB bot activity because of the added expense? That's a question I have wondered kind of in the back of my mind. That's a good question. Zen, what do you have on that one?
So I have gotten this answer, and almost don't even. This answer was gotten from the PulseX dev, and I asked this question specifically, and he gave me the answer. But I've had so many people disagree with this answer that I'm almost a little bit concerned that he didn't understand my question, maybe. But as far as I understand, PulseX is a fork of like pretty much a Uniswap contract of some sort, and Ethereum or Pulsechain is, and the fees are paid in Pulsechain. And how it works is, as the price of Pulsechain goes up, it doesn't necessarily make the gas go up. It just means you're paying less tokens for the same dollar amount of fee. And this is how he answered it to me, but so many people disagree with that, and they think as Pulsechain goes up, also the gas goes up. But as I understand, is the gas does not go up. It's the same roughly penny.
Yeah.
Because Pulsechain will be worth.
You're breaking up. Excuse me. You're breaking up a little bit.
It's something to know this.
You got to rewind about 10 seconds.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, so I asked him this specifically because this was a question I had, and how he understood my question and how he answered it was the gas prices necessarily don't go up because Pulsechain goes up in price. You'll just pay less Pulsechain per transaction, but it will be still roughly the same dollar amount. But if transactional volume goes up, so if there's more people over here on Pulsechain and we have to fight more for these block spaces, that's what's going to make it cost more. But it won't cost more because of Pulsechain going up. It will specifically only cost more from more people being over here. And that's when we get into the point where, yeah, it will cost a little bit more. Let's say instead of 1 penny, it costs 5 pennies. That's not really going to make less ARB opportunity because that's such a little amount. And then also now you have to realize now we have 5 times the amount of volume. So now we have way more opportunities to arbitrage because we have 5 times the amount of activity over here. So when a negative thing like arises from people over here, also a really positive thing arises from people being over here. Now we have more people that we can onboard. Now we have more people we can educate. Now we have more volume that we can arbitrage, more volatility that we can arbitrage. Like even just in the last day, like the whole market crashed in crypto stocks, everything.
Yeah.
But UFO had $50,000 in volume because of that. Like we're the only ecosystem that's making money off of stuff like this, in my opinion, which is awesome. So we can look at these dips as just we go down, we go up, we get paid. But and that's also the thing with as more people come over here, yeah, maybe gas goes up a little bit, but also there's more people, and we need more people over here on Pulsechain. So there's positives to it.
Sure.
But yeah, gas would go up a little bit because of more people transacting. But as I understood, what the Pulsex dev answered me with this question is no, gas does not go up because of price of Pulsechain going up. It would just make it so you're spending less Pulsechain for the same transaction because it's based on dollar values. And this could be incorrect because I've had so many people say what his question is, hey, we pay in Pulsechain, so if Pulsechain goes up, doesn't gas go up? So many people think this that I'm almost concerned that the Pulsex dev didn't answer me, but as of what the Pulsex dev said to me is it does not go up like that. It's completely based on volume and the amount of people over here not on Pulsechain.
Sure. And I don't want to put you on the spot, but did you give him any pushback? Like, you get him some of the feedback you got from other people so he could know exactly what you're talking about and confirm his position?
I talked through someone.
Hello, sir. Hello.
Hold on.
Can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, hold on a minute.
Hello, host, sir. I will request to can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you, but can I finish my?
Sir, I'm sir, host. I have a proposal. I'm a marketing.
Okay. He's gone. He's a listener now. Sorry about that.
So I talked through someone. One of my friends is actually friends with the Pulsex dev, so I send my friend the questions, and then my friend gets the answers. Sure.
Okay.
So I tend to not push back too much because it's middleman related. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Mikey. Oh, before we go to Mikey, Paul Sachs has a comment on what we were just talking about. He says it's the opposite, Will. It means thicker liquidity for the pools and more ARB bot activity will route through our pools. He says further, because the ETH 2.0 fork, I think we have to do over 10,000x for transactions to become expensive again. The mechanics of the ETH 2.0 system play into our gas price. Mikey, what do you have, man? I know we got to get you in so you can get to bed because you're in the UK, from what I understand. What's happening?
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
It's actually the afternoon now, so I'm fine.
Ah, okay.
So on a Monday I have to stay up late.
There you go. Okay.
I'd like to ask one question to better my understanding around the supply shock. As the supply shock got so low, the liquidity in the pTGC liquidity in the pool got so low, what would happen to the buy and burn and also the pTGC rewards for staking if there wasn't enough pTGC in the pool to pay rewards and to buy and burn? Is basically, if you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, this is a question I've got a lot. So right now we're projected to buy and burn like 5% in the next 6 months. But if you look at what's left in liquidity, it's only like 3.5%. So people ask, like, how is this even possible? So how liquidity pools work is as you run out of supply, they just keep pushing the price up and up and up and up, and you can actually never run out of supply. So if we just keep buying and burning and there's not a lot of sell pressure on the chart from us going up X after X after X, we'll just keep doing exits. But usually what happens is people, after they get up a lot of X's, they sell into it. So then our buy and burn buys and burns that sell. You know what I mean? But in a perfect world, let's say no one sold, well, then we would just keep doing X's and X's and X's and X's until the prices of tokens became worth a lot of money.
I see. So it's very unlikely we'll ever run out of.
You can't run out of liquidity. It will just keep pushing the price up of pTGC to infinite numbers to make it to where there's always liquidity left in the pool, even if it just gets down to under 1%. It'll just keep pushing the price of pTGC up, which is ultimately the goal with investment strategies like this. We want our investments to appreciate in price. Say that again. Sorry, I missed that.
I said it's looking good because the supply just keeps dropping and dropping. I don't think I've ever seen supply below.
Yeah, I think this is the lowest it's been, and now with UFO out, last time we were near these levels, UFO wasn't even a thing, and we've also redistributed a ton of the supply into strong hands and more into the burn address, which should equal less sell pressure in the next run, which is an awesome thing because you have to buy out people who get in early who aren't willing to hold long term, and that's exactly what the machine has done in the last 6 months with this bounce of PLS and then retracement. It's working great. But yeah, so pretty much if we just keep doing X's and we keep buying and burning and the machine's doing its thing, we won't run out of supply. It's just going to keep pushing us up X's after X's after X's until it gets to dollar amounts that people are willing to sell into. And then, you know what I mean? That's how these liquidity pools work. So we'll never run out. It's best case scenario. We just keep pushing up X after X after X.
When you look at where we are in the market and how little supply there is now, we're so much further to go.
Yeah, we actually, in my opinion, due to what we were thrown this week, due to PDI just taking a huge dip and us being heavily tied with PDI as the ecosystem, Pulsechain taking a dip, the whole entire market in general taking a dip, I personally think we held up pretty damn good. Comparatively, if you look at everything else, every other altcoin, etc., we held up very, very strong. And I think that's awesome. Because of the fact that we are such a small and tight-knit community and we all are very educated on what we hold, we actually can control our little sub-market better than actually being in Pulsechain and stuff that have a lot more people in it, because we kind of all have a vision over here, and it's pretty awesome to all have the vision and understand what we hold, because we can actually separate ourselves from the market a little bit, because if we do dip, we have people that kind of want to buy that dip. If the market starts going up, obviously everyone's happy, but it's nice to be when you see so many negative things happening around us and us still be able to get a nice green bounce and stuff like that. And I think that's just because we're educated on what we have. We obviously all want more. We're just kind of all strapped for capital, especially where the economy is right now and possibly going into a recession. But sometimes things like this are the best things to hold going into a recession, because we know what this machine does and we know how it performs. And it is a small cup. So when the smaller the cup, the easier it is to control where the cup goes. We can fill this cup very, very easily with the market going down which you can actually see what we've been doing for the last few months. We've been holding up pretty damn strong comparatively to everything else.
Right, well, thanks for that, then. That's all I've got for the time being. Thanks for Banana. Somebody else up to speak. Thank you.
You're very welcome, Mikey. Looking for other speakers. Let me check the chat. So if you guys wanted to look at the sheet, there's a link to this sheet that I'm showing on YouTube. There's a link to it in the video description. It's also in the Telegram / spreadsheet. If you look at the pTGC rewards estimator and the UFO rewards estimator tabs, I'm tracking some wallets and the activity. But in particular, the pTGC rewards estimator tab, if you click there, I am tracking the total LP and the Pulsechain volume. And those are interesting metrics because I'm making a correlation between Pulsechain volume and the volume in these other two assets. And also, total LP is a thing. And we broke 3 million about, I think it was 3 weeks ago in total LP. And we've been above 3 million since. We almost went to 4 million. And I'm using secretobank.com, which is a 24-hour record, and I'm updating it in the morning every day. So it may be that we've, actually gone into that $4 million realm. I just haven't. If we did, then I just didn't see it. So daily, I'm updating this. Right now, total LP is 3,131,000. And the Pulsechain volume was yesterday was 11,200,000. Just interesting stuff to track.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
I don't know if you'd be interested or if it's beneficial to you, but it's something I do because I like my Excel spreadsheet as well.
Oh, good.
You see creatures part of it. If you could put a metric in that tells you how many. So say you were a dolphin, for instance. So if you had a dolphin position, how many X's you are away from, say, $1 million?
Oh, wow.
So something I do on my own spreadsheet for my portfolio, and it's kind of encouraging. As prices go up, the X's start dropping away. You think, I'm buying it, and it encourages you to buy more as well. If you think, I'm only 100 X away, something like that, I'm going to buy a bit more.
Yep. And
that's of interest to that.
Yeah, I've done some stuff like that. You could also put it in there where you have a target, I have something like that. Give me just a second, guys. Should have thought of that, but let me show you.
I'm just using $1 million as a target, same type of thing.
So on the same sheet, Mikey, I have one called Freedom Number.